SeaWorld says it's looking into developing a resort in partnership with Evans Hotels, which owns the lodge at Torrey Pines and San Diego's Bahia Resort Hotel. Joining me to discuss SeaWorld's shifting business strategy is business marketing expert Bernhard Schroeder, director of Lavin Entrepreneurship Center at San Diego State University. And Bernie, what do you think this resort-style model would actually do for SeaWorld's bottom line?
You know, I think one of the things they're reacting to at SeaWorld is the fact that the Orca show is no longer going to be driving their future traffic or revenue. So I think they're reaching out and looking at changing the business model. One of the options is doing this potential deal with Evans Hotel. I think if they can become a destination, it's going to be good for San Diego.
I was going to say, does San Diego even need another resort, though?
You know, I think if you look at why people come here, I mean, when I often ask guests that come here, and there's a lot of students on the campus that come here from Europe, and I say, you know, when you come here, what do you go see? And they say, we go see SeaWorld, the San Diego Zoo, and the Wild Animal Park. And I think that might be true for a lot of people that come to San Diego.
All right. In terms of business and profits, though, what do you think motivated SeaWorld to make this kind of monumental change, really, in the way it does business?
You know, I don't think Blackfish necessarily was the tipping point, although it might have been the hastening point. I think if you look at their stock price 5 years ago, it's been cut in half in the last 5 years. Visitor traffic continues to decline quarter over quarter, and I think they finally got the message that the marketplace doesn't necessarily want to go see orca shows, especially the millennial marketplace that's growing.
And why the millennials?
You know, because you know, I see it on the campus, and obviously with the number of the types of people we work with in the community, that millennial audience is very much into social causes. They're very much into the environment, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to support and what they're not going to support. And I think they're figuring out, based on the negative press, they're not going to support SeaWorld.
Well, speaking of that, SeaWorld's president and CEO Joel Manby says he wants to change public perception of the company. Let's listen.
People love companies that have a purpose, including for-profit companies. I mean, I don't have to tell you what Whole Foods stands for. I don't have to tell you what Tom's Shoes stands for. You know, they all have a very specific purpose, a very specific goal of what they're trying to accomplish. And I don't see any reason that SeaWorld can't be one of those brands. Now, we're not there today. I know we're not there today.
So, Manby admits SeaWorld is not there yet. What would it take to become aligned or to be considered a socially responsible company like the ones he mentioned?
You know, it's fascinating to me that they still don't have their business model figured out, but he is mentioning socially responsible companies, or at least companies that listen to their customers. I think what they're going to try to do, or what they have to do, if he wants to be like a Whole Foods or a Tom's or any socially perceived company, he's going to have to figure out an authentic way of getting there. It's not going to be through PR. It's not going to be by likening himself to these other brands. They're going to have to sit down and look at the business model that they're going to have to craft and say, is this an authentic brand that aligns with our future customers?
SeaWorld employs between 2,000 employees in the off-season and up to 4,500 employees during the peak season. How important is SeaWorld to San Diego's economy?
You know, I think just looking at those numbers from 2,500 to 4,500 during the year, that makes them a significant employer in San Diego, and let alone the revenue that it drives, because it just doesn't drive SeaWorld revenue, it drives hotel revenue, it drives airfare, it drives a lot of things. So I think they're an important player in our hospitality and tourism space. I think they have the opportunity right now to redefine their brand and do something amazing.
Would you anticipate seeing an increase in SeaWorld's park attendance leading up to the last shows, the last Shamu entertainment shows?
You know, this is an area that they better be really careful. It's almost like you have the last lion or the last elephant show on a declining circus. The audience in the community has weighed in and said, we're not really interested in these shows. They have to, from a PR perspective, be very careful and try to be as authentic as possible as they recraft not only the brand but the business model, because if they are deemed unauthentic on their journey to where they need to go, that will hurt them.
All right, Bernhard Schroeder, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.